Welcome to the Benchwarmers Podcast. I'm Casey Coggins, here with Alvin Hebert.
Hello.
And Andrew Lara.
Howdy.
Now this is episode 2 officially. I actually hit record, which I don't think I did last week, so I fucked it up.
We're good to go.
Yeah, and we had some good shit last week, but again, I fucked it up. So really quick, we just want to touch on this Zeke thing. News just broke. We all got our ESPN notifications about his suspension being upheld. But since it was too late, he is going to play week 1, and that should probably be a Cowboys victory with him playing. We'll see how the court rules to see if it's the suspension is suspended until it all gets figured out in court, kind of with the Deflategate thing with Tom Brady. So he might play the whole season, he might not. It's just kind of an ongoing thing. Alvin, what are your initial reaction to seeing Zeke's suspension upheld?
One, I'm kind of shocked. I want to know the reasons why it was upheld, because so far all the information that we got is just looking like he should win the appeal, probably get it reduced, or not even miss any games at all. So I don't know what other information they got that we don't know. Pretty much everything points in the directions that Zeke should have won the appeal. But, he's in there for game 1. They didn't come down with the decision soon enough before the 4 p.m. Eastern time deadline, so that's why he's there game 1. If the Texas ruling on his restraining order that he put in goes through, then we can see him play more games. I don't know. I'm kind of shocked about it, but then kind of not. So it's gonna be a war for sure when they die.
And to our resident Cowboys homer, Andrew, what are your opinions?
Man, it's all a conspiracy. They just want to see us fail. They want to make it as hard as possible for us to make it. But you know what? We're not going to stop. You're going to keep feeding Zeke. He's going to play week 1. We're going to get that, what do you call it?
I don't know.
You were just talking about the Texas.
Oh, the court.
The Texas court ruling?
Yeah, that court ruling. Once we get that court ruling situated, he's going to play the whole season now. We'll take care of it in the off season. If anything, he'll miss the following season. What's going to be that 18-19 season?
Like how they did with Tom Brady?
It's going to be the repeat of Deflategate. We're going to have another bad drawing of the court illustration.
But thinking about if the suspension is upheld and it's just kind of delayed until next season, I've been hearing on ESPN San Antonio them asking like this question: would you rather have Zeke suspended this season or next season? Because they're probably going to be a better team next year than this year because of just how players develop. Zeke's going to have another year in the league. Dak's going to have another year in the league. Dez is going to have another year in the league. They have a decently young defense, and they have the ability to go and sign people. Like, would you rather see him suspended this year and just kind of hope that you can manage while he's suspended and kind of run with it, and so you don't have it going forward and it's just out of the way? Or would you rather try to win it all this year when, we were kind of looking at it all just a while ago, looking at all the teams in the NFC that are good. I think there are only 4 bad teams in the NFC right now. So the toughness of their schedule this year it's a lot tougher this year to win. So why not just get the suspension over with?
So you feel like it'll be a distraction over the team, like throughout the year?
No, I don't think it will be a distraction at all. I think that if I'm the Cowboys, they were 13-3 last season, whatever they ended up at. They were the best team in the NFC, but they're still a super young team, kind of, the Falcons-esque, like have a super young defense. You have Dak and Zeke. Like, why not get the suspension over with? Because the probability if we're looking at just numbers, the probability of them winning a Super Bowl this year compared to them winning a Super Bowl next year is probably higher that they win it next year, or at least get to it next year, than this year.
I don't know. One thing that holds me for that you want him this year is because the whole Zach Martin contract stuff was put on hold.
Yeah, but
so
I think
you don't even know if he's going to be on the team next year. So
I mean, the Cowboys front office has just been incredible the last few seasons. I've been saying it for a few years because, you know, San Antonio, like Cowboys country, like one of the biggest Cowboys fan bases outside of Dallas that you'll see. So I have a lot of Cowboys fans as friends and family, and I'm not a Cowboys fan, so I tried to talk some realism into them. Yeah, I try to tell them the truth about what's going on. I'm not blinded. I'm not blinded by my fanhood about the Cowboys, because I didn't think that they were going to ever make it to the playoffs or possibly contend for a championship under Jerry Jones' regime until they started getting their front office fixed. And once they started drafting Zach Martin and Travis Frederick, and they started drafting the offensive line, I think it was 2010, I knew that they were on their way, because Jerry Jones, I think, instead of trying to draft the flashy guy and the high-profile guy, he just kind of let, like, Stephen Jones step in and kind of, he took a little bit of a backseat. He doesn't really take a backseat, but I think they figured out the recipe on what they needed to do. And so I think that they're smart enough now that Zach Martin is one of their linchpins. Like, he has to be there. That whole offensive line can't go anywhere. Like, Zeke's great, Dak is good, Dez is good,
but without that line.
But yeah, you can replace offensive weapons on the outside. Like, it's obvious you can replace those. There is a stat that the two teams that made it to the Super Bowl last year, the Falcons and the Patriots, had the same starting offensive line the entire season, and their starters on the offensive line were so just consistent that they were able to do what they wanted to do. They were able to execute their offensive scheme because their offensive line allowed them to do so. And if you're, a team like the Seahawks, like, y'all made it to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years because of how good the defense is, and Russell Wilson making good plays and Marshawn Lynch making key plays. But then that offensive line fell apart, and Russell Wilson is now running for his life and getting hurt like every other game. And so they're not nearly as good of a team when Russell Wilson is getting hit all the time. Like, Cam Newton gets hit, and Jameis Winston gets hit, and Andrew Luck gets hit. Like, if your quarterback is constantly getting hit, you're not going to go far. That offensive line is a key thing. That's why Zach Martin needs to stay. So I wouldn't worry about his contract.
Well, I'm going to put Zeke in my starting lineup right now. Goes well for my Week 1 fantasy football.
All right. Well, that's just a little bit on our thoughts on the Zeke thing. With Thursday being the opener for NFL season, it is back, ladies and gentlemen. We all put down our 6 teams in the NFC and the AFC who are going to make the playoffs. And then I had them try to pick Super Bowl opponents and who's going to win it all this year. Just have some predictions out the gate. I'll let Andrew go first. Who you got in your playoffs?
All right, starting the AFC, of course, you have the Patriots taking the AFC East.
No doubt.
Yeah, it's an easy pick. Everyone.
Now, did y'all do a 1 through 6 seed, or did y'all just put divisions and wild cards?
Nah, I just put divisions and wild cards.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so I've got the AFC East, of course, being taken by the Pats, as they've just taken over the past couple seasons already.
Well, I mean, they haven't lost the AFC East in 13 seasons.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's just...
They even won it with Matt Castle.
That's an easy write-off.
Yeah, especially with the Jets, being talked about going 0-16. I hope they win at least a game so the Lions can keep the record. The Bills, Tyrod Taylor, you don't really know what's going on with them. They could have a 4-12 season or have a 10-6 season.
And they traded away Watkins.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards the 4-12 season. The Dolphins, they have a good team, but with Tannehill going down and bringing in Jay Cutler, if Jay Cutler goes back to his Adam Gase days a few seasons ago and doesn't turn the ball over, they have some weapons. And Jay Ajayi is a 3-down back who's going to take a bulk of the load there. So, they're the only really competitor in that division. So, I think we all have Pats winning that division pretty easily.
Yeah, that shouldn't even be a question, really.
Yeah. All right, who you?
AFC North, I've got Pittsburgh. I got the Steelers. I think everyone's been saying it's their time. It's their year. It's their year.
Picked up Hayden. That was the thing that got it for me.
Yeah, they have that consistency.
They just named J.J. Watt's little brother TJ a starter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Over what's his name?
James Harrison. Be a backup, but with the Steelers, I have them as my 3 seed in the AFC, so I have them winning the division too. With the Steelers, all this is with the caveat that Zeke plays the entire season, and every team is healthy the entire season. From now, there are some guys that are obviously out that we know of already. But going forward, nobody gets hurt, nobody misses time, just 100% lineups. And given a 100% lineup, the Steelers probably have the best offense in the league.
Yep.
They have the top 3 receiver. I think Antonio Brown's probably the best receiver in the league. He's by far the best route runner, and he might be the best catcher of the football. He's just, he doesn't have the size of Julio Jones or A.J. Green or Des Bryant.
You can't forget Le'Veon.
Le'Veon is,
He ended his holdout.
Yeah, he's a top 3 running back. So
hope Dairy Queen doesn't plan on calling him back.
top 3 running back, top 3 receiver, 2-time Super Bowl champion, and Big Ben, Martavius Bryant. They drafted Juju Smith-Schuster out of USC, who should be a very good pickup for them. And their offense, I feel, is just loaded with talent, and their defense is starting to slowly get back into the Steeler defenses of old.
Yep. So, yeah, we got Pittsburgh taking the AFC North, and then in the South, I've got Houston coming through.
Is that like a semi-homer thing?
Not even.
That's a Hurricane Harvey respect kind of
yeah,
thing.
man, come on.
Just how the Saints did it.
Houston needs to have something to look forward to right now.
The Saints weren't good after
They got
Katrina.
The Stros was balling.
Man, come on now. Come on.
No facing the Stros up.
All right, so who are your 2 wild cards then?
Well, can't forget about the AFC West.
Oh, did you not do the West?
I haven't said it. I've got the Chiefs coming through in the AFC West.
Okay.
Any argument there?
I have the Raiders winning that division.
All right, cool. Y'all can say that for later. Say that shit for later. I got the Raiders.
But I have no complaints about the Chiefs winning that division because, the Broncos don't have a quarterback. Their defense is great, but they don't have a quarterback, and who knows what C.J. Anderson and Jamal Charles are going to go.
Speaking of the Broncos, they cut T.J.
Ward. Yeah, I thought that was ridiculous.
Brock Osweiler.
Yeah, they did not. I feel like they did not have a very good offseason. And then the newly named Los Angeles Chargers need to get the hell out of Los Angeles and go back to San Diego. In my opinion,
should have never left.
Yeah, and I love Phillip Rivers, and if Keenan Allen's healthy, that dude puts up monster numbers. But they're not there yet. And I don't know if they're going to be able to overcome how talented the Chiefs and Raiders are. So I don't disagree with the Chiefs winning the division. But I disagree that the Chiefs are winning the division in my own prediction. Like I'm not up in arms that you have the Chiefs. Like,
and then my AFC wild card, I've got the Raiders and Titans.
Yeah, see, I think we have 5 of 6 picks together. Because I don't think you put the Bengals in there, right?
No, I did not.
Because I got Pats, Titans, Steelers, Raiders as the division winners, and then I went Chiefs, Bengals as the wild cards.
You said you got Pats, Titans, Pittsburgh Raiders as the division?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the same.
And then Chiefs and Bengals as the wild cards. And I think I have the gut feeling about Tennessee this year. Mariota was my sleeper in fantasy. I had DeMarco Murray, that offensive line. The defense has gotten better. Corey Davis on the outside, Eric Decker, Kenny Britt. I think they had a very good offseason.
Delaney Walker also.
Oh yeah, Delaney Walker. I just couldn't think of who their tight end was. But they have a very good chance at getting. I think they have the 2 seed in the AFC. Like, I can see them going 11-5 because with Andrew Luck possibly being out a month, like the Colts haven't really given much light on how injured he is and when he's coming back. He's out week 1 for sure, but I heard today that he might be out the entire month of September, and who knows when he's actually coming back. And then the Texans, they have a great defense. As long as it can stay healthy, they should be fine. I see
Deshaun Watson going to be that guy?
I see Deshaun Watson ending up as the starter at some point. I think they still have Tom Savage as their starter right now. Lamar Miller is able to carry a load. They have some injuries to their receiving core. DeAndre Hopkins isn't 100%. Will Fuller, I think, is out for the season. So, again, this is all based off of if they can stay healthy. But I just still don't think they have quite enough to deal with the Titans and get over the hump with the Chiefs and the Bengals. And then who else is the Jags, who we don't really need to talk about them because they're not worth it. Not yet.
Thanks for giving them 5 minutes of fame, though.
Yeah, so I think that the AFC South, if Tennessee handles their own, they're going 6-0 there. And looking at their schedule,
they got like the 3rd easiest.
They start home against Oakland, and that could go in either way. Then Jacksonville, home against Seattle, that could go either way, but they're at home, so they get slight advantage there. At Houston, at Miami, home against Indy, at Cleveland, home against Baltimore, home against Cincy, at Pittsburgh. I easily see them going 11-5 at least. Like 12-4 really isn't out of the picture.
I had them 12-4. I see them losing 4 games.
Yeah, I can see them losing to Oakland, Seattle.
It's just that stretch where they're playing against the Ravens, Bengals, Steelers.
Yeah, but they play the Ravens out of their bye week. So that's always helpful, playing a team out of the bye. And you said you had the same 6 in your.
Yeah, I think we could go ahead to the NFC side because I got the same 6 on AFC as you do.
All right, well, Andrew, you lead off again.
All right, cool. So starting with the NFC.
Cowboys number 1.
Of course, Cowboys taking the NFC East. Not even a question.
We them boys.
We are them boys. And then coming out of the NFC North, we got Go Pack Go coming out. Aaron Rodgers.
Of course. Cheesy.
Of course.
Cheesy.
NFC South, I got the Falcons pulling through. And then with the NFC West, Seahawks.
My man. Yeah.
Yeah, so who do you have in the North?
Packers.
Okay, so I have the same 4 as my division winners. Seahawks, I have this as the number 1 seed. It was really tough going through the NFC. I feel like there are 12 teams that can easily win their divisions. just depending on how the ball falls. But again, this is all based off of 100% rosters, and I see the Seahawks having the best defense, and they have Russell Wilson, who, I don't think is a great quarterback, but I don't think Dak Prescott's a great quarterback either. You put them in situations like they're in, they're going to win you some games. So I have the Cowboys as the 2, Packers as the 3, as much as I hate to do that, and I have the Falcons as the 4. Did you go with your wild cards too?
Yeah, wild card. I've got the Bucks. I don't know if that's just a Hard Knocks pick or what, but
I don't know. They look legit.
They do.
Yeah, they're the fan favorite this year to pick to a team that didn't make the playoffs this year make the playoff, or didn't make the playoffs last year that will make the playoffs this year. They're one of the hot picks. And then who else?
And then I got the Giants.
Ugh.
Yeah. Who did you have as your division winners, Alvin?
It's pretty much the same except for the South. I actually have the Bucks winning the division in the South, just because I don't trust the Falcons over the Super Bowl incident and all that stuff. And that division is all.
I mean, if we want to go into that, they were the better team. They played better for 3 quarters.
Hey, the better team won.
The better
That's
team.
a team that went all 4 quarters.
No,
they played 1 quarter.
The Patriots played 1 quarter.
It just happened to be the last quarter.
All right, we'll just spot you this amount of points and then we'll just.
I mean, that with the Falcons, I kind of see that Super Bowl loss is more of a fluke and an outlier than anything about them, because if you look at the numbers, the Patriots ran over 90 plays and they had the ball for 45 minutes. That Falcons defense by the end of the game just could not run. The pass rush in the first half that made Tom Brady look like an average quarterback. Tom Brady was having one of the worst games of his entire career.
Oh, no doubt.
But once the Falcons defense got tired because they couldn't, I don't know what their offense started doing in the second half, but they just got tired and they just ran over in the fourth quarter.
Well, that's also another reason why Kyle Shanahan is not there as the offensive coordinator anymore.
Because he got a head coaching job.
Yeah, but
wasn't he already out the door at Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. But
he already had the job.
Yeah, he was.
those plays that he was calling in the second half was.
But yeah, so I don't think we should take the Super Bowl loss like that at kind of anything. It wasn't like they got hit in the mouth like the Panthers did by the Broncos, and then they didn't know what to do the next season, because the first game in that next season was the rematch when the Broncos came and hit him in the mouth again, and Cam Newton started complaining that he's getting hit too hard. Which, I mean, some of those were questionable hits, but they weren't the same because they just got dominated. The Broncos weren't the same team after they got dominated by the Seahawks the year before.
Yeah, but they also did win the Super Bowl after that.
Yeah, 2 years.
But another reason why is usually with the NFC South, whoever wins first always does not end up winning the division next year, and it's the team that's ended up last.
Yeah,
wins the division, which I think would be the Saints. They were the one that were last, right? Last year?
It was Saints or Bucks. I think they might have ended up with the
Bucks. Yeah,
I think it might have ended up as the same record.
So I'm just going off their bad juju, and I think the Bucks are pretty legit this year. Once they get Doug Martin back from his 3-game suspension, I think they'll be 100, and I think they'll make some noise. But I do got the Falcons as a wild card, so I didn't knock them out completely. And then I do got the Giants also, just because.
All right, well, so I have, like I said earlier.
Can't finish that.
Yeah, no, I was just like, you don't know what to say about that one.
Yeah. So Seahawks, Cowboys. I have winning being the top 2 seeds and getting the bye. The Packers and the Falcons. The Packers has the 3 seed, and then the Falcons. Those top 4 can go in any order because I can see any of them being 13-3, and I can see any of them being 10-6. But I don't see any of them falling below that 10-win threshold. My 5 seed is my homer pick. It's going to be the Lions.
Homer.
Yeah, and it's I follow them a lot. I just feel like they have the weapons on offense to contend with any team.
If you're paying Stafford the highest quarterback pay and he hasn't won anything, you better step up now. That's all I gotta say.
I mean, we could talk for days about the Stafford thing and him getting paid and like he needs to step up because he does need to step up, but not all of it falls on him. A lot of it fell. I mean, he's a quarterback, so in the end, they judge you based off of your win-loss record more than any position. But their defense has been getting better. They've been focusing on it more. Same with the offensive line. I don't know how many times I need to say this because I think I've said it 3 times already. At 100% healthy, Amir Abdullah can be a game changer with Golden Tate and Marvin Jones and Eric Ebron and Kenny Galladay. They have Theo Riddick as a backup running back. They have weapons on offense, so they should have no problem scoring points. If their defense stops some people, that's really the question mark. But I see them getting enough wins to get into the playoffs. In the 6th seed, I was having a tough time going between Panthers and Saints because I do think the NFC South might be the best division of football, but I just can't see the Panthers with that defense and Cam Newton and drafting Christian McCaffrey, who should help him out a lot. Like, I just don't see them missing the playoffs again. Like, he should have a bounce back year and they should be fine. So the Lions and the Panthers are my 2 wild cards. But as I said, like, I only saw 4 teams when I was looking at the NFC, 4 teams that just have no shot, I think. Like, 12 teams have a legitimate argument that they will make the playoffs, that they could win their division. Like the Vikings, their defense is stacked. They drafted Dalvin Cook. Sam Bradford has another year under his belt. So Stephon Diggs.
Picked up the running back from Oakland also.
Latavius Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the Vikings, they're in the running. Arizona Cardinals can make it. All of the teams in the NFC South. And then the Eagles and the Giants can easily win the NFC East, depending on how the ball falls, how the ball rolls this season. And Carolina was the worst team in the NFC South. Looking at it, they ended up 6-10. I forgot how bad of a season they had.
Oh, Cam Newton was just horrible that year.
Yeah, I mean, he was hurt, and they had some issues. Yeah, so Falcons, Bucks, Saints, Panthers was NFC South last season. Well, we have our predictions for the 6 in each conference. Alvin, who's your Super Bowl matchup? And who do you think's going to win?
I don't want to say like the Patriots have it like automatic lock, but I do got the Patriots in there. I do think some teams could give them issues, probably like the Chiefs or Pittsburgh maybe. But I got the Patriots, and then right now it's a toss-up, either Packers or Seahawks. I'm leaning more to the Seahawks just because that defense is, I think it's back to that boom, Legion of Doom and all that Legion of Boom. And they picked up Richardson from the New York Jets.
Yeah, that only makes a good defense better.
If their offense could, their line could hold up a bit, keep keep Russell up and not hurt, I mean the Seahawks got it.
Yeah, we'll see about their running game, and they traded Jermaine Kearse, who was their second best receiver. They have Jimmy Graham and Doug Baldwin, and they got some pieces. We'll see how it all goes. And they got Tyler Lockett, I think Tyler's his first name, out of Kansas State, who's an electric return man and good slot receiver to have, who might end up being their number 2. But I don't see their line holding up against some of the teams in the NFC. So I can see them getting knocked out in the playoffs. Who did you have winning the championship? Did you go with the Pats repeating?
Yeah. That'll be a repeat.
Damn you, Tom Brady.
It hurts me to say that too.
I know.
I'm sick and tired of it, man. It's just, but damn it.
The only reason I'm sick and tired of it is because all the credit goes to Tom Brady, even though their team has just been so well organized that he doesn't his numbers might he doesn't throw the ball deep often. He throws it great. He throws a great deep ball, but he throws those little 1 to 5 yard slant routes that Julian Edelman, before he got hurt, would take 15-20 yards. But their defense has always been top tier every time they win a Super Bowl and go to the Super Bowl.
And they got him another weapon, Dorsett from
Philip Dorsett, yeah, with
Colts.
Brandon
he was a bust
Cooks
there,
and Gronk and James White and Gillislee, and they have Bill Belichick and that team. They understand the secret to winning. They just understand how you need to win, and it's not about going out and spending a lot of money on big name players and getting all this flash and stuff. It's getting the guys that fill the need. They understand it, and they're so good at it. But enough about them. Andrew, who are your Super Bowl teams?
Super Bowl picks. I've got Pittsburgh and the Seahawks.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I think they can dethrone Tom Brady. I think
that was one of the teams I said that they could give them problems in the playoffs.
Yeah. Who did you have winning out of those two?
I'm gonna give it to the Falcons. I said the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Wrong bird. I have it going to the Seahawks.
That bird isn't dirty.
No, it's not.
You have it going to the Seahawks? You think they're getting back to the top?
I mean,
it'll be every other year that they got there?
I feel like, Carroll's going to rush the ball at the 2-yard line this time.
Give it to Lacey?
Yeah, except they don't have Marshawn. It's like 4 years too late.
Extremely.
Yeah.
But, again, I already talked about the Seahawks. My Super Bowl teams, I have the Falcons making it back after the devastating loss that we just alluded to with last year. Their defense is too good. I think their defense is too young, too fast. They can get after the quarterback. They didn't really lose anybody, I don't think. And then their offense is loaded. We'll see how much the offense changes. I think they have Steve Sarkisian as an offensive coordinator now. So we'll see how much the offense changes from Shanahan to him. But with Freeman and Julio and Matt Ryan and
Coleman.
Yeah, Tevin Coleman and Mohamed Sanu and Austin Hooper, I think is their tight end. I think that Dan Quinn, I think that's their coach. One of the Seahawks guys, I think it's Dan Quinn. I think he just understands what needs to be done now. He didn't realize what he needed to do in the Super Bowl because he had only been a coordinator before that. So I see the Falcons making it back, and I'm with Andrew. I think Pittsburgh, if all is fair and everybody's healthy.
Looking at you, Ben.
Yeah, Big Ben. Keep those ribs protected. Just fall if somebody's about to hit you. Just follow in the Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning like ideology. If somebody's about to just slam you, just take a seat on the ground. It's soft. I promise you that the grass will not hurt as bad when you're not being slammed into. No, I think he retired after about 35 years in the league. I mean, we already talked about their weapons. Like, I think they have the best offense in the league, and their defense is what they focused on in the offseason. I think they got deeper. They signed Joe Hayden, so they have another defensive back to throw at the Pats. So I see the Falcons-Steelers meeting in the Super Bowl, and I think the Falcons are they're on that revenge factor, X factor, that they know what they need to do. They know that they're good. They have the talent. They have the coaching. They're just going to come back, and like I only had them as my 4, but I could easily see them going 14-2 in the regular season because they have the talent to, and just running through the NFC to get to the Super Bowl. So we got Pats, we got Seahawks, we got Falcons. We're pretty all.
There can only be one.
Yeah, and we're probably all wrong, to be honest.
Because it's going to the Cowboys.
But I mean, with the playoffs, I think we all kind of have the same idea of what teams are the best in the league, and who we see in the playoffs. Somebody threw out the Texans, which I don't know why he would do that.
Yeah, who is that somebody?
I don't know, man. Sounds like a genius.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
But I'm excited to kind of see how it all turns out. And I just hope that every team can stay healthy so that we can crown a healthy season champion, because that never works. So now on to some fun stuff. So I don't know why he was asked this, and I don't know why he thought that this was a smart thing to say. Why these words came out of his mouth. I thought you were better than this, Lonzo. Nas is and will always be
hip hop.
He will always be relevant. He has the single greatest rap album of all time, which, I mean, you can argue for some others, but I mean, Illmatic is Illmatic. He was 18 doing that by himself.
Yeah, man. Iconic, man. Iconic.
Even some of the stuff later, Stillmatic, and he's
written.
Yeah, he's just. I just don't know why you don't say that. Like, NWA is still hip hop. Leaders of the New School and A Tribe Called Quest and Run DMC and
it's like how you say that when these young kids grow up on smartphones and stuff, they can just Google what is hip hop.
Like I'm
sure Nas will pop up.
We didn't have Spotify and iTunes when we were 7-8 years old. I mean, granted, when we were 7-8 years old, Nas was coming out with Illmatic and Jay was coming out with Blueprint and Luda was coming out with Chicken and Beer, and like Busta was coming out with Genesis, and like Outkast was coming out with Aqua Emmy,
AT-Aliens or something.
AT-Aliens, yeah. Aquemini, however that's pronounced. Like they just, I mean, we grew up in that era of mid 90s hip hop where it kind of just took
golden era.
Yeah, it took what the old school did and ramped it up to the new modern young age. But I mean, even then, like there are MCs that Eric B and Rakim, like guys they're always going to be hip hop. But Nas is a guy that you always have to say is hip hop. Like there's no if, ands, or buts about it. Like Nas is Nas. I mean, it led us to, the typical top 5 MC debate, where we list our top 5. But I'm pretty sure we all have Nas in our top 3 rappers of all time. Like he's that good.
no way around it, man.
I mean, I get the Migos and Future thing. They're
bad and bougie.
Yeah, they're prevalent today, and they are the leaders in today's age with, you know, Kendrick and J. Cole. And
it's just like on these days, kids just want a good beat that they could dance to and a good hook that they could just repeat over.
Yeah, it's like it kind of reverted back to early 80s hip hop, where it's not really about the lyrics and the song and like the songwriting process anymore. Like there are a few guys that are actually trying, like sitting there writing down their lyrics and trying to portray this story about what they went through. Like one of the songs that's come out recently that you don't really see much in hip hop anymore is "Wet Dreams" by J. Cole, where he's talking about being a kid in a high school class.
Yeah, getting his first nut in, man.
Yeah, like I mean, saying it like that it ruins the story I'm trying to tell.
I was gonna go fucking shit up.
But I mean, it was such a beautiful story written about, you know, having to be this boss man in senior year of high school or whatever year he is.
Your meat,
yeah.
Gotta make sure you're
prepared. Finally getting her to the house to lose the virginity. Like it's a well written song that you don't, when you throw the dirtiness in that, the explicitness,
the bussin' nut part.
Yeah, that changes
he used
it.
a condom. Okay, I'm sure he used a condom.
But you don't. That's the kind of, like, even what Kendrick does. It's about the story, and that's what I think. Rapping is poetry. These guys are able to put rhythmic lyrics and say things in a certain way that a lot of people can't. That's the beauty of hip hop. Is one, you have the beat, which is always important, but when you have the ability to turn a lyric with the ability to play with words like a poet does, like that is the beauty of hip hop, that I think. And that's kind of why I have my top five the way I have it. But let's go ahead and debate our top five.
Well, you just want to like run through ours down real quick, and then we...
Yeah, I think that'll probably be the best way to do it, because if we react to everyone, this could last forever. So Alvin, top five, starting with Nas.
Of course. Of course, Nas, he's my favorite rapper of all time. I got him number one. Gotta have Eminem in there. If you don't, I don't know what y'all smoking on. I do have Kanye. I got Kanye in my top five, just because I think we know he's crazy.
Man,
Kanye's
first. See, but like the musical genius thing, like
that dude's a musical genius.
I can't. If I was going off of musical genius, then Dre needs to be top five. But
if he was a rapper,
his first, he was a rapper.
Ghostwrite.
But Kanye's first two albums are some of the best first two albums of any rapper of all time. Like his first two albums kind of allowed him to do whatever the fuck he wanted to, and whatever he has done, like those first two albums. So yeah, Kanye's
and this one, a lot of people probably will be like, what the fuck, but I got DMX up there.
Oof. Did he give it to you?
Man, his like first like 3 CDs were fucking dope, dog, and he had that like...
No pun intended.
No pun intended. At least not for him. I mean, who knows what he's...
Man, that's like me putting Tech 9 in there.
Tech 9.
That's a racist pick too.
And then I ended with Kendrick, just because I think with this last album just like solidified it for me that I had him jump him in the top 5.
All right.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people are trying to start saying that Kendrick's the greatest MC of all time, and I mean, I think people need to pump the brakes on
they
him.
need to pump the brakes on him.
I mean, even
I'm not going that far, but I just felt like
Kanye, like with him coming out, and I think he dropped his first album in 04, 03, 04. Like that's about probably like I feel like you always have to pay homage to the guys who started a while back and kept it going for like the longevity thing, kind of like when we talk top 5 in sports. You know, a guy who can have one great season doesn't make him a better basketball player and have a better career than a guy who had 10 great seasons or 10 really good seasons. So I think Kendrick's a little too new to the game still, too much of a new artist for me to put him in the top 5. But I mean, if he keeps going on the way he's going, he could easily end up in the top 3. Andrew, I see Nas. Nasty Nas.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think that he'd be a fool not to have him on your list. You know the man's resume. You know where he's been. And according to him, life is good.
Yeah, life is good.
Coming in second, I've got Drake written down. Or I mean, Drake's ghostwriter.
Whoever.
Party Next Door.
However many there are of you.
He got some sweatshop food.
And then of course you can't have a list without having M on it. I mean, that's just the grit of Detroit.
Yeah,
that's it right there.
It's just it's hard. It's hard to say, like, explain to people how great he is. It's just you have to listen to him and understand what he's saying, because he's not. I mean,
he made a song about killing his wife and getting away with it.
Yeah, I mean, like he's done some crazy stuff, but that's kind of how he needed to. That's how he needed to be in order to make it big. Like if he didn't do the crazy stuff like that, people would have just cast him aside because he's this skinny, blonde-haired white kid from Detroit. Those guys aren't seen as MCs. That's why people were like, after M, they were like, oh, well, who's the next great white rapper? Because there was nobody before him, and there hasn't been anybody after him.
Vanilla Ice Ice Baby? No.
Uncle Vanny?
We're not going to go there.
I mean, he even alludes to it with Bubba Sparks that got super coked out, and he just didn't ever make it. Machine Gun Kelly.
Everlast.
He is the one and only great white rapper. And that's kind of saying something, that he is the highest selling rap artist of all time. I mean, probably because he's a white guy and there is a big white following for him, and there is a bias. Like, being a white guy, I listened to a lot of Eminem growing up because he was relatable, other than, the killing and the raping, and the doing drugs and all that stuff.
Popping pills.
But like, if you listen to some of his freestyles, and if you listen to his ability to rhyme words, the dude is a explicit Dr. Seuss book. Like, he can rhyme anything, and
just vote.
You never read that Cat in the Motherfucking Hat?
Like he talks, in one of the songs on Encore, he talks about rhyming first place with birthday, and like the producer being like, huh, yeah, that works, all right, cool. Like, it doesn't really rhyme, but it rhymes enough, and he says it in a way that he makes it work, and it's incredible. His skill was incredible. Okay, finish your list.
So yeah, coming stopped in Detroit to talk about, and we're gonna take it down to the trap
house.
Andre 3000. There's no denying his greatness.
A lot of people do that, man. They put Andre on his own, like, separate plateau, but like, I don't know. I can't have it without Big Boy, so I always put them.
Yeah.
But half of his music has been without Big Boy. Not so much half, but a lot of his notable
when he's featured on stuff. Yeah,
I do give it to him. Features, yes.
His opening verse on International Players Anthem is legendary.
Oh yeah.
His verse on John Legend's Green Light is pretty damn good too.
Frank Ocean's Pink Matter.
Yeah, like
He had a track on that Rick Ross.
16 bars, 16 ain't enough.
Yeah, Andre 3K is definitely. I feel like he's slowly started getting more and more love. I feel like there was a time where people saw the shit that he was wearing and like him and Outkast and doing Speaker Box and The Love Below and
great album.
And oh, it's so good. But like you just see him and you're like this guy. I don't know what to think of this guy. But then if you like strip it down and you go to the earlier stuff and the Mrs. Jackson and the Rosa Parks and the Whole World and
B.O.B.
Yeah, B.O.B. is. I mean, I think Big Boy kills that song.
Oh, of course.
Big Boy kills that song. But yeah, I think there's no denying how great he is. And who do you have as number 5?
I've got K-Dot himself, Kendrick Lamar. Of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
King of Cali, King of the West Coast right now.
Self-proclaimed King of New York. Don't forget that one.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Self-proclaimed, which means it doesn't count, guys.
That's on
Self-proclaimed
it's
never
on
counts.
record. It's on record.
Okay, we'll see. We have. Let's see. You have Nas 1. You have Nas 1, but Kendrick is the king of New York.
Hey, you know what? I didn't hear Nas deny it.
Nas didn't deny it though.
I think Nas just is
Jay
taking
never-
it.
Nas got excited by it.
Kendrick is revolutionizing. Well, not revolutionizing, but he's kind of brought back the pop culture aspect of hip hop, because pop, like, I feel like it had kind of gotten away from a lot of things because it was all Drake and Kanye, and whatever Drake and Kanye did was the main thing, and they became more pop stars and rappers and like MCs.
Weezy too. He turned into a freaking pop star.
Yeah, like Kendrick is trying to keep like that 90s hip hop that we talk about being the golden age of hip hop. Like Kendrick tries to keep it there, and that's I appreciate that. I mean, I don't see him.
Did you just say the 90s as the golden era of hip hop though?
Well, we were talking about like the mid 90s. He like Alvin said the golden age when we were talking about Illmatic.
I don't know about that being the golden age though.
The mid 90s?
Yeah.
How not?
I don't know. I'd say maybe early 2000s.
Man, the early 2000s, we're talking like
early
Lil Jon and
Nelly
To the Windows.
and Luda.
I think that dude, that's
down my bowels.
dude. That was the introduction to the club.
That was
All the girls were saying like dripping down my bowels. All
Yeah.
Girl, you know what you're saying?
They're on their knees with sweat dripping down my balls.
Yeah, they are. They were on.
Yeah.
And then that led to the whole, what was
She
it,
got her.
2008, Kanye and 50 Cent.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
50 Cent was supposed to quit hip hop after that. After his sales didn't top Graduation.
Like if
What album was that one? For 50? Was that?
the shitty one.
Was it Curtis?
It was, no. It could have been
It was
Curtis.
Curtis because they had that song like I Get Money.
Yeah.
But no.
Notable mention.
But yeah,
50 Cent.
I mean Kendrick.
Don't come to Curtis.
He goes into all different aspects of hip hop, and like I said, the poetry thing.
Well, who's your top 5?
I mean, I am staying with M number 1. I don't think that there has been a rapper who has the same kind of. I mean, there are fast rappers. There's the Twistas and the Machine Gun Kellys and the Bustas and Tech Nines and those guys who can go fast. But
Wolf even.
But like, I think when some people go fast, the lyrics suffer. But when M starts going faster, his lyrics are exemplified with how like he's just kind of using the one syllable words and being able to just like hit it like a snare drum. I mean, his albums are just as iconic as anybody's. They just have a little rougher of an edge for some people. But 2, I do give respect to Nas. I think Nas doesn't have. I feel like Nas doesn't have the same portfolio that M does. Like his first 3 albums were outstanding. Same with M. But I think going on, I think M's later stuff is better than Nas's later stuff. But there's a lot of debate that M doesn't change his style enough, so he's doing the same stuff over and over. But I mean, if you're good at it, then why do you need to change it? But I mean, I just see it's like a 1A and 1B. I should say this now because we didn't preface this with we were excluding Biggie and Tupac from this discussion because those are kind of obvious answers.
Oh, yeah.
We wanted to kind of delve deeper into who the top 5 might be for us. So for those who might listen to this and be like, where the fuck
Why the fuck you don't got Pac on there?
So for those,
Pac wouldn't be on that list either way.
But number 3, we kind of just alluded to him. I have Busta Rhymes. I think Busta, his portfolio is as deep as everybody. He started with Leaders of the New School, his features on A Tribe Called Quest, the stuff that he's doing on the new album of The Tribe Called Quest, all the stuff in between, all of his features. He's incredible. He's like a godfather of rap for the new age.
If only he still had the dreads though.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that pick is like how like I picked DMX in my.
Yeah. Like you have to listen to enough of the guy to appreciate how great this guy is, and I've listened to enough of Busta to understand how just incredible he is. He has a song. Can't think of the name of it, but it's one of his newer songs. I think it's called Grave Digger.
What do you think of Work It?
Yeah, I mean he has some A-Rab Money.
An epic remix.
Yes, it was.
A-Rab Money. He has some busted ass songs, but I mean as a whole, I have him 3. 4, I'm going Ice Cube. I needed a West Coast guy in this. I feel like you can't have a top 5 MC list without somebody from the West Coast. I thought about going Snoop. I was leaning Snoop, but with NWA and then going solo and stuff he's done since then, and he's somebody he's a legend. But I mean, I could have easily gone Snoop here. I thought about going Eazy-E, but I mean, fortunately he doesn't have the length of a career because he got a little wild and crazy.
Always use a Jimmy.
But I felt like there needed to be a West Coast guy, so that's why I went Cube. In building off of Andre 3K, I just put Outkast as number 5 because like I feel like you just like as good as Andre 3000 is.
That's what I'm saying. Like you think Andre 3000, you think Outkast.
Yeah,
like entity. They're one.
Yeah, you can't have one without the other. Like they broke up and they're doing their solo stuff now, and so that they can try to be thought of as solo artists or like separate, not solo artists but separate rappers. Outkast in general, you can put those 2 guys on any hip hop song and you're gonna come away liking the song because they're incredible MCs and they have such a unique style. Each of them have such a unique style that it doesn't, like, it's not supposed to work together, but it does.
It does.
And Outkast is incredible, so I had to put them 5. Lonzo, get your shit together. Nas, top 5 of all time. Probably top 3 all time, no matter what. Nas is hip hop. Go home with your Migos and Future shit.
Yeah, take that bad and bougie shit somewhere else.
For real.
For your girls on your Snapchat or some shit.
After that, I think this ends this episode of the Benchwarmers podcast. As always, I'm Casey Coggins, here with Alvin Hebert.
We good?
And Andrew Lara.
See ya.
See you next week.
We'll take your girl, pay you no mind. Stealing hearts is what we do. Watch out, girl, I'm coming for you. Watch out, girl, I'm coming for you.